Hello. Today we're going to talk about how you can streamline your essay assignments in WebClass. So if you're using the LMS WebClass, there's a high probability that you're giving lots of essay assignments to your students. So we're going to look at some ways to make it easier for you and maybe better educationally for your students. So one of the main tips that I have for you doing essay assignments in WebClass is to avoid file uploads. WebClass will allow your students to upload Word, PowerPoint, PDF, JPEG photos, a wide range of file types. WebClass, you have to download it, open it, annotate it. So it's not a very smooth process. To get around that, I highly recommend that you use description. Description means the students have to input the text into WebClass directly. It really saves you time. It helps you be a little bit more accurate, and it's not difficult for the students to do, even if they've made some other file type. So if you use description in WebClass for your essay assignments, the student's essay and the place where you input the score are going to be on the same page. It makes it a lot easier for you to keep track of whose score you're inputting. Okay, let's take a look at an assignment and see how we set up description. Okay, we are now in WebClass, and we have this article here, a news article summary. So I've had one student, actually one of my colleagues, do the assignment. So we're going to look at the settings for the assignment, and then we're going to look at grading it together. So here are the directions for the assignment. But if we go down below, you see this section here. When you create your assignment, it's going to look like this, a file submission. And you have all these different boxes you can check to show which files you'll accept and what size limit you'll accept. However, for mine, I use description. And from there, I can set a minimum and maximum number of characters. That's letters, spaces, punctuation. And I can set a test for certain keywords. But the next part is something that can really help your students educationally. A rubric is a type of score sheet where every point value has its own description of what students do to get those points. But scoring something like this is not very time consuming for two reasons. One, within WebClass, if you use a rubric, you can click onto the different squares in the rubric to make the score. That's fast for data entry. Also, because there's a concrete standard for scoring, it takes a little bit of the kind of uncertainty within the teacher. Let's see how it's done in WebClass. Okay, we are back in the screen for editing the assignment. And in this row for allotted points, we can see on the right-hand side, there's something that says Edit Rubric. We'll click that. I'll hold on a second. So this is the rubric screen for WebClass. You can create your own rubrics, and you can also create them in advance with an CSV file in Excel or something like that, and upload them. So you can have several rubrics for different tasks on your computer that you upload when you want them. You can choose to show the rubric when the student is answering, show the rubric when the student is finished answering, or don't share the rubric. For the student's benefit, I would say keep this shown to the student. You can add more fine degrees of points. So right now there's just 5 points, 3 points, 1 point. We could have, say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if you wanted to make those fine distinctions. In the rows, you can add the different aspects of the task that you want to score. In this case, it's only an example, so I've just added content and the accuracy of the language. Now, for simplicity's sake, I made all of these descriptions in English right now. However, since my students' native language is Japanese, it would be much better for the students to have these different descriptors from the different points on the rubric to be in their language. So now let's go and look at what it looks like to score an assignment using a rubric. Okay, we're at our main screen for the web class. We're going to go over to Grades, Grade Essay Assignments, and then select the assignment that you're interested in. When we click Grade, on the right-hand side, we can see the directions for the assignment, and then below, we can see what the student submitted. So in this case, the student pasted a translation of the Japanese article. And then here's the student's summary, typhoon equals bad, and their opinions, very good article, yeah. So it seems like this student's not using English. Okay, let's grade it. So the content, the summary includes both a complete summary of the article and the writer's own opinions. Typhoon equals bad, that's not a complete one. Minimal writing would fit for that. Accuracy, very few errors and none of the errors impair understanding. Well, I think because the opinions were in Dutch rather than English, I would say we can't understand it if we don't speak Dutch. So it's got to be scored like that. If you need to, you can write some comments. Please use sentences. Also, please write in English, not Dutch. So I think you can see that using a rubric can show the student better how to do their assignments and improve in the future. But at the same time, it can reduce the amount of time that we spend trying to accurately input the grades and sometimes decide grades. So in the future, give it a try. So set your essays to description and use a rubric. See you later.